All right. Hello and welcome to Queen's Journey. I'm gonna wait a few minutes for some people to come in because usually when I get on here, I just start chatting. And I'm learning as I'm going. So, adjusting accordingly to how I see I need to, um, grow as I'm doing this. So it's okay to take a moment. It's okay to breathe. Like I can use this time to just really take a few breaths, come back to center, because even though I have faced the fear of doing this and have taken that leap of faith and trusting myself and just, you know, doing these lives, I still notice like when I'm getting ready to do it, I still have this anxiety. And I don't know if that's ever going to go away. Like, I think the anxiety and when you're doing something that's out of your comfort zone and you're kind of getting familiar with it, and just on the journey, period. Like, I don't care how many times you're guided to get out of your comfort zone and do things that you're not used to doing. Um, that feeling is just there. So I'm learning how to be present with it, to breathe through it, to allow it to just flow, and not letting it stop me anymore. So that's the major growth part that I have to stop and just recognize like, okay, it's coming, it's gonna come, it's okay, just breathe through it, it's a part of the process. So just accepting that. I'm accepting that anxiety is a part of it. So today we're going to be talking about knowing who you are is your superpower, and acceptance is the key to flowing with life. And as always, I'm just going to be sharing my experience and coming into that knowing who I am is my superpower and how it's helping me on my journey. Hi to everybody that's coming in. Um, but yeah, knowing who you are is your superpower. Like, I was shown that maybe like 3 years ago on my journey because I go back and forth with me all the time. And I have to stop and ask myself, like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, that's not you. That's not your intention. That's not how you move. So, one of the big things for me is social media. Like, I have a love hate relationship for all the platforms, right? It's very beautiful and it can be very just at the same time. So I challenge myself because I'm not somebody who's really just drawn to being on it all the time. Like, I challenge myself to just detox from it. So I can go months without being on social media, you know? Um, and before it was really like just I was constantly being guided to get on here and do lives, post videos, but of course all the fear and the anxiety about all the things and just me watching how people interact on these platforms, it ain't always so pleasant, you know, but they also have some very beautiful moments and content that's out here. So I allow myself to be a part of that. If it was up to me, I would be in my little corner by myself, minding my business, drinking my tea, doing what I do. But my soul, this is a part of my soul's mission, is just to do this. So I'm like, okay, I'm accepting that. So knowing who you are is your superpower because for me, like I have these moments where I'm being guided to like post and I'll stop and I'll be like, nah, I'm not gonna post that right now because I don't want to just be running to social media every second with something. And it's like my spiritual team must stop me and be like, That's not even your character. Like, we are telling you, we are guiding you to post. Like, just trust that. But I don't trust it all the time, because I be like, I don't just want to be on there. Like, I don't want to be that person that's just on there posting all the time. Just, you know what I'm saying? And that's not me. That's not me. So I have to come back to that. Like, that is not you. So just post. So I'm challenging myself in those moments to get on here and just share, you know? And I'm acceptance is the key to flowing with life. And I'm realizing how I'm flowing with doing this and just showing up and flowing with life, period, through the things that I'm experiencing. I'm accepting that, I'm accepting that I'm not perfect. I'm not going to always say and do the right things. But one thing that I know about me is I'm always going to go within myself to learn and grow from my mistakes. So when I get on here and I share from my experience, from my perspective and perception of the things that I have experienced in this life, I'm going to ruffle some feathers. And that's okay. Everybody's not going to agree with me, and everybody's not going to understand the things that I'm sharing on here. And that's fine. It was my experience, and they also have some people out there that are experiencing similar things. So me sharing is not going to help everybody, but it's going to help somebody. So I have accepted that, you know, and accepting the fact, like, my spiritual team showed me, like, hey, you were meant to ruffle feathers. I'm sorry. That's just a part of your journey. And I'm like, okay, like, your feathers had to be ruffled in order for you to learn and grow. And one thing that I know from my own experience is, if something bothers you, if something shakes and stirs your spirit, if your feathers are ruffled, it has nothing to do with the person that's talking and everything to do with you. So then that's your time to go within yourself and do your soul searching. Figure out why that bothered you. And sometimes it's taking you out of that place that you're stuck in. Not sometimes, all the time. It's taking you out of the place that you're stuck in, that your soul is saying, hey, it's time to move, and you're not listening. So then you come across a video or you come across a conversation, you hear something, and you're like, it makes you angry, or whatever emotion that you experience during that time. It's all about you going within yourself and figure out why you feel what you feel. And it took me a long time to understand that. It took me a long time to accept just me for me. Like, I have these moments where I'm having conversations and I'm talking to people, and sometimes I'll just stop, like, after the conversation. We're talking about one thing, but then I go somewhere else, and I'm like, why did I say that? Why did I say that? And I'm judging myself internally about it, and the person might say, oh man, I really needed to hear that. So what I'm being shown is that talking is one of my gifts. It's one of my gifts. Just talking. And I get on here and I try to control it, and I say, oh, this is what I'm going to talk about today. Hi, y'all. I say, this is what I'm going to talk about today. And then I get on here and it goes so many different ways, and I'm just accepting that too. Like, that is how my soul moves. That's how my soul moves. My spiritual team is giving me information. My soul is giving me information about things that I need to share. It's so many different things. So many people coming in here. Somebody may need to hear this. Somebody may need to hear that. So I cannot put myself in a box. I can't put my conversations in a box. And I have accepted that. So I'm just learning and growing in that, and just being okay with who I am and saying, this is who you are. Like, I'm saying to the world, take it or leave it. Like, everything is not for you, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? I know that my soul mission in me doing this, I know that everybody's not where I'm at. But what I do understand or understand is that every soul has an experience that they came here to experience. And it looks different for everybody. Yes, we all experience some similar things, but at the root of all the things that we're experiencing, the feelings and the emotions that come with those experiences are the same. So no, we may not have, live the same life or experience the same things on our path, but those feelings and those emotions that come with it, come with that heavy baggage, baby, it's the same across the board. You know what I'm saying? So, me and my soul sister friend was having a conversation, and she was like, it's just some things that some people can't speak on because they didn't experience this thing, but the feeling is the same. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we connect that on those journeys, and that's where it comes to having compassion and holding space for people and being able to connect on a deeper level where I didn't experience that, but I can have compassion. And I know what that feeling feels like. I haven't had that experience, but I know what the feeling feels like. So just being there and being present with that, and some people put themselves in a box where if somebody haven't experienced the same thing that they have experienced, they feel like this person can't tell me nothing about what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? And that both things are true. And I'm learning that too. I'm learning that both things can be true at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm learning that too. Um, Another thing that I'm accepting is, and why I struggle with getting on here and doing these lives, or just sharing my story, because I struggle with like expressing myself. And I say that, it's funny when I say that, it sounds hilarious because I express myself all the time. But it's the words, the trick play on words, and what word means what, and this don't go with that, and just the complex and the confusion of all the things. Like, I was somebody who hated school. I hated it. I dropped out in the 8th grade, and I just hated it even when I was in it. Like, I think in middle school I cut school maybe like the whole time. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like it. And I didn't like it because I struggled with just, I felt like I was struggling with learning or understanding the things. And as I'm talking about this, of course, that version of me, I'm about to get emotional because it was hard. Like, it was challenging. Like, I felt like, why can't I learn? Why I don't understand? And it was very challenging. Like, I hated it. So even to express myself through writing or like on here, like, I be wanting to comment on things, but I don't. And I'm just getting out of that where now I'm commenting. I don't care. I'm like, hell, no, I didn't learn all the things. I don't know what word goes with what, or the days, the theirs, and all these things. It's like, look, I don't have the mental capacity sometimes. Like, some people life experience, they were too busy just trying to survive, trying to make it through life, didn't know like where they was gonna get food. Some kids are literally raising their self. You know what I'm saying? So everybody journey is different, and that's where that compassion comes into play at. It's like, you don't know my story, only I know my story. So I had to accept that. It's like, people can come in and project and say this or that, or you should know this, or the mean ways that people try to correct people in the comment section. It's so disheartening. It's like, because you don't know these people's story. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what these people have been through. And so that is another thing that kind of stopped me from doing this. But at the end of the day, I had to go through those fears. I had to go through going within myself and healing and accepting me for who I am and my journey, how I was raised, how I was brought up, the things that I didn't have the opportunity to do because I just was trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? But then I had to open myself up to, girl, it ain't too late to learn. It ain't too late. Like, the world is just full of knowledge. It's full of things for you. It's this is your world. And there is nothing stopping you from learning but you. You know what I'm saying? I'm accepting that. So I was sitting here and I also realized that people can only understand. People can only understand from their perception of their experience. from their perception and then from their perspective. And it's so funny because today I looked it up because I was saying perspective, and then I was like, hold up, is that the right word I'm using? So let me go look it up. And when I went and looked it up, it gave me the two different definitions. And I read them. I said, oh, wow, they're both similar. They kind of both mean the same thing, but one is a broader definition of what I'm trying to express. And what I know is that when people come into my comment section from their perspective, like I'm sharing my journey and my experience, but they're commenting from their perspective or perception of their own experience. They cannot comprehend anything beyond what they have experienced on their journey. And I cannot share anything beyond my perspective or perception from what I have experienced. And then also from my inner knowing. And my inner knowing is my soul wisdom from just life experiences, right? Because there are some things that I know that I can't explain where I'm like, dang, I know this, I just don't know how to explain it. Like, I know I have been reincarnated many times, and I know that just from experiences. Like, I'm seeing things and I'm like, oh, nah, I did that last lifetime. Oh, I was this last lifetime. And I can't really explain it, but I know it. So then it's that part when you're tapped in and you just in tune with your soul and your soul mission and being in soul alignment, you just have this knowing of things that you cannot explain to people. And only the people who are in alignment and in tune with their soul knows what I'm saying. And some people are just not going to understand that. And that's okay too. So I'm accepting that. So it's allowing me to be able to get on here and just flow and share my experience understanding that dynamic of this relationship on social media. Because for a long time I was like, I don't have time for that. I'm not about to do this. I'm not about to be vulnerable, put myself out there, sharing my story, and people coming in and thinking they can just say and put whatever they want in the comment section. And I had to separate myself from that. I had to say, you know what, that don't even matter. So let's go within and figure out why you worried about that. Let's figure out that fear so we can do what our soul came here to do. Because I don't know about nobody else, but I don't have no time to be wasting. My time is precious. I value my time and my energy. And I used to feel like before I was wasting my time, and I know now I'm not wasting my time. I know what I'm being guided to do, and I'm going to do that because I know when I was in that dark space, when I didn't know, and when they had people talking about similar things that I understood, but I still wasn't quite on their level of understanding. I just had this internal knowing that, oh, what they're saying is something that I understand. It's something that I'm getting to, but I can't relate to them because they just seem so far away. You know what I'm saying? And I used to feel like people would share the beautiful parts of their story. So the part that I was in, the confusion, the chaos and all that, like I just felt so alone in that. I was like, am I ever gonna get there? Am I ever gonna see that side of the coin? Because they ain't telling me like how to how they'll give so the inspirational and the uplifting messages that come on, they'll say, oh, like go within yourself and heal, it's up to you to do your work. But how do I do that? How do I do it? So I'm just being shown to share those moments, share those intimate moments, those hard moments, those things that I struggled with, how I overcame it, how I worked through it. You know what I'm saying? Coming to this place of acceptance of knowing that peace is my identity. It's my soul. The essence of who I am is my soul. I don't like titles. I never did. So when it came to being in a religion or being in a spiritual community, I was like, I don't resonate with either one of those because in both of those, it's the same things are happening. And I'm like, I don't even want a title. I'm just a spiritual being having a human experience. Don't put no labels on me. Don't put no titles on me. I don't wear crystals. I don't have all these things, but I'm very spiritually in tune. You know, so it's just like when you look at all the things, they all have similar things happening inside of them, whatever dynamic of your experience that you're in. That's a full circle. There's good and bad in all of it. And I use those terms very lightly, but you know what I'm saying? It's like on the religion side of the coin and then the spiritual side of the coin, the titles are different. So in religion, it's a lot of looking outside of you for answers and that connection. And on the spiritual side of it, it's knowing that everything is on the inside of you. So that's the difference between the two. Spiritual awakening, spiritual community, we know that it's nothing outside of us. And in religion, it's looking outside of you for the divine, for that connection. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference, to keep it simple. But in both of them, you have, so like in religion, you have where you look at people who, let's just say the church, for instance, they getting all this money and stuff, everything is high price. It's it frustrates me so bad, so I'm just trying to articulate it the best way I can. But it's like you have to look a certain way, you have to be a certain way for people to respect you or value you. They're looking down on people who don't have all the things, you know what I'm saying? You go into these places where they're supposed to help you, and it's, you got to jump through hoops. Oh, you're not a part of this church. So, and it's not for everybody. What I'm saying is it's the same way on both sides of the coin. So when you come to the spiritual community, it's like you have these people with all this high price stuff where they're selling the things that they experience, the knowledge, and if you don't have this money, you can't experience these things, or you can't tap into it because you don't have the money. And then they're looking down on the people who don't have it, just vice versa. It's like that in those communities. And then we have the celebrities, right? It's the same thing. Same thing. You making all this money, you have all these things. You can very well make things affordable for people to be able to experience, and you still make your money, but yet it's still high price. The greed, I guess that's where I would go. The greed is in all aspects of the dynamics of these, um, what is the word I'm looking for? Hmm. I'm not really sure what I want to call it. But in the foundation of these things, titles, or communities is what I will call it, communities. In the foundation of these communities, all of the things are existing. It don't matter what size. So I went from religion and seeing all those things in there to coming out of that into the spiritual community. And when I got there, I was like, this looked like it's different, but the same things are happening on this side too. So I just always come back to me. I always come back to my heart. Like, I'm learning from all of the things. How to just be a better version of me and show up in the world different. Show up in the world with unconditional love and understanding and compassion, to be able to hold space for whoever I interact with, no matter what walk of life they come from, what status. Like, none of that stuff matters. It's about you and your heart, and coming back to that, and seeing everybody as you see yourself, seeing the divine in everything and everyone, and moving accordingly. But you can't accept other people if you haven't fully accepted yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it comes back to that acceptance is the key to flowing with life. Because some things are just out of our control. Some things we weren't meant to change or be a part of. And we just have to accept that. Because people want to tell you, like, oh, you should be this way. You should do this. And one of the examples we can go to is when it comes down to race and just this power driven, um, this need to have power over things, or saying you're superior than and this is inferior. Like all of that disconnection, the spirit of discord, disconnection, the illusion of one is better than the other. Like we have to dismantle that. But first we have to dismantle those things within ourselves. Like really coming back and understanding who we are, the essence of who we are, and what we came here to do and experience. Like for real. Because all of the other stuff is just an illusion to keep us trapped, to keep us stuck, to keep us from growing and elevating in that unconditional love. So until we get to that place of acceptance, we can't accept the things around us. We can't accept that we're not going to change everything. We can't change everything. Some things are just going to be what they are. It's just going to be what it is. What did you come here to do? What is your role in this life, this lifetime, in this body? That's what we have to start putting our energy into. You know, like, I don't know. I'm somebody who questions everything. I'm always going within myself, asking all the questions. When I speak and I say things, I'm loving doing this YouTube journey because I'm really learning from myself, and I always have. So sometimes I'm like talking to my friends and I'm going through something, and I just need them to hold space for me and listen, because usually when I'm talking, before they can even tell me their advice or say something to me to make me understand, I'll be like, oh man, I got it. Okay, because I'm just talking and it comes out. So even doing this YouTube journey, I said I wasn't going to go back and watch my videos, but I go back and I watch them, and I'm like learning from me also. And I'm like, oh, well, I used to say like, oh, I didn't want to say that. Or I'll delete the video and I wouldn't upload it because I'm like, oh, I didn't want to say that. Oh, I didn't want to offend, I don't want to offend somebody. So, let me delete that. But I just decided to start posting it. And doing live is so cool because I can't unsay it. It is what it is, right? But I can go back and learn from it. How could I have said that differently? You know what I'm saying? Oh, I could have said a little bit more to give a better understanding in that area. So now I have more content to go make because I can take that topic or that subject and go deeper into it. So it's just like everything is me learning and growing within this experience. And that's been how it's been my whole life. I'm learning and growing within everything that I'm experiencing, and I take every experience to learn how to be better. And so I looked up, when I was going back and forth with those two words, I looked it up and I wrote it down, and I was like, look at you learning. But perception is how you interpret and understand the world through your senses, influenced by immediate experience and feelings. While perspective is the broader viewpoint from which you analyze something, shaped by a lifetime of experiences, beliefs, and values. And I was like, oh, wow, that is so good. That is so good because it's like everything that I know and I've been trying to express, like, I understand. My level of understanding of me and just, well, let me back up. My level of understanding me has helped me to understand other people and the world around me. And that's why I say to know who we are is our superpower. And to understand who we are is the key. Because I know and I'm able to hold space for other people off of my own experience. Like, okay, when I was here, like in the Christian community, when I was a Christian, nobody couldn't tell me anything. I believed that with my whole heart. And when I came out of it, I was in that space of, and when I was there, I used to, be like, oh, okay, I know this, and this is the way it is, and this is the only way. So I know that energy. So I'm able to hold space for people and say, So when people come in and like talking to me and they have that energy, I don't feel no type of way because I'm like, I done been there, done that. Like I already know what that is. So I understand. And then it's no discord. There's no, projection of energy. I let them be who they are in their energy because I understand it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to send them love. But I don't have to take offense and I don't have to justify where I'm at on my journey because I know where I am on my journey is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And that's that soul alignment. When you understand it, you're not trying to convince people or defend where you are or what you know. Because it's no longer a belief for me, it's a knowing. Like I know what I know. And I'm open to learning and growing according to my soul and what my soul came here to experience this time. So being in soul alignment, being in soul alignment and accepting where you are on that journey, why it's so important is because when you're in soul alignment, you know what you have already experienced in other lives. And if you don't believe in past lives, that's fine. It's not saying that you can't learn something from what I'm saying, but you know what you have experienced in past lives. And I'm going to give you an example. For me, on my path, I've had moments where I come to a situation and I'll use Christianity. When I came out of Christianity, it would have been a normal reaction for me to try to go to another religion because it was like, okay, this is not it, so it must be another religion, right? And a lot of people, my mom, for example, my mom has went from religion to religion to religion. I have seen this and witnessed this, and it's so funny. When we were kids, me and my sister used to crack up laughing at her and her experience. But one time we went to this event with her, and it was what is that man name? He had the broadcast where he would go on there and he would like do this, you're healed, you're healed, you're healed, and people would just fall out in the stands. And me and my sister got to experience a live event with my mom, and we're looking around and we was cracking up laughing, and we was like, Mom, you really believe this stuff, So I watched my mom go from one religion to another. She probably done been to every denomination of, what's under the religion umbrella. So when I came out of Christianity, it would have been natural for me to go to another religion. But when I came out of Christianity, one of the things that I kind of leaned into was the Israelites. And when I got there, I was like, this is the same thing. It just looked different. I was like, but it's the same concept. Like, they're talking about the same thing. They're saying, like the Israelites were black and all of this. I didn't resonate with that. So I was like, nah, that ain't it. And I came out of that. And it was like, once I pulled myself back from that, I was like, okay, what is it for me? And in that moment, I knew that I had already experienced every religion in a past life. So I was like, oh, Christianity was the last religion that I needed to experience to kind of like close that umbrella of those experiences on my soul's journey. And so it was just annoying. I couldn't explain it. It was like, I've already done that. It was like when I came to the things and I'm looking at them, Buddhism, all of the things, I was like, oh, I did that before, but not in this life. It's so crazy. So, having that soul alignment keeps you from experiencing things that you have already experienced in past lives. And so that's why soul alignment is important. You ain't gonna always know, you just gonna know. And that don't even make no sense. It's like you know, but you don't know. And that's the complexity of just this life and this life experience. It's like you know some things, and I know a lot of people can resonate on that level because it's like, man, it's just this feeling. It's this feeling, and I'm not gonna ignore it. I'm gonna trust it. And sometimes it can be very lonely on that path, on that journey. But you have to get okay with being alone and accepting it. Like, it's okay to be by yourself. Like, I don't know if I ever, I'm trying to think when I was younger, because I've always just kind of went with the flow of things, even though I felt like I wasn't. I had this illusion over me that I didn't know what I was doing. I felt very lost and confused for decades. I talked about that in a past video, but I really felt so disconnected from myself. But as I look back and I think about moments where I was doing what I'm doing now, but it wasn't, now I do it intentionally, and now it's like it was just happening, even though I was taking the action. Um, it was like, in moments in time where I had to stop and be like, okay, so I used to smoke weed when I was very young. And I just woke up one day and was like, why am I doing this? Like, this ain't doing nothing for me. It just makes me, have the munchies and I want to eat snacks all day. And so I stopped smoking weed. I used to go to the club and I used to drink. I had my moment of coming out of drinking was, I'll never forget. I can remember it's those pivotal moments where I'm like, where a shift happened in my life, where I didn't recognize it at the time, but now looking back, I can see it. So drinking, I stopped drinking one night. Me and my sister-in-law had went to the club, and I got so drunk, I fell asleep on the toilet. And I, first of all, coming home, I can remember that feeling. I felt so just discombobulated, didn't know what was going on. I got home, went in the bathroom. I can't even remember if I vomited. That's TMI, but I sat there and I was like, after that experience, I got up and I was like, you know what? I ain't doing this shit no more. This ain't it. You know what I'm saying? And that caused a shift in me. And then I look back on my life and I'm like, dang, I could have been somebody who was addicted to smoking weed or addicted to drinking, but I'm not. But that could have been my life. You know what I'm saying? So it makes me have compassion for the people who do. Because it's like, you don't know. And then even being in this space, sometimes I have these moments where I stop and I'm like, girl, you are doing this life without any substance. Like, that's badass. But I understand, because in it, I'm like, man, this shit is crazy. Like, how am I doing this? How am I getting up every day? How do I keep showing up in life? Being authentic, keep driving myself to be better. Like, what is that? And when I was talking to my therapist, I was like, I don't know. Like, at first I didn't know what it was, but now I know. It's my soul. It's that drive that my soul came here to accomplish something. And I don't have all the details. I just know I'm following my path as I'm being shown. Sometimes I get to places and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I know I was guided here, but what is going on? This is not what I thought it was going to be. It's so far from what I thought it was going to be. And I just have to stop and say, you know what? I'm here for whatever experience I came here to experience. And in that journey, I have let go of expectations because it led to disappointment. I know I was guided to the places I were meant to be, but I had the expectation of what I thought it was going to be. And when it didn't turn out that way, I was very disappointed. Sometimes it brought me into a depression because I was like, what the hell was that? Can I trust myself? Because I thought it was going to be this, but it wasn't nothing like that. But when I step back and I see what I learned in those times, in those moments, I'm like, oh, that's what that was about. And I was telling my cousin, it's like, if you ever seen Moana, it's like when she's on the boat, right? The ocean chose her. So the ocean is the universe, the divine. When the ocean chose her, that journey was not easy. It was not easy. And when she called out and said, ocean, help me. And a storm came and she went under the ocean and her boat flipped over and then the ocean took her where she needed to be. But when she got there, she was like, what was that? You called this helping, my boat is wrecked. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you feel on this journey. It's like, what the hell was that? And then she turned around and she realized that, hey, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And she's like, oh, Maui? And the ocean was like, mm-hmm. But the funny part, I like when she tried to kick the ocean and she said, that's why fish pee in you all day. And I was like, I absolutely love that, because that is what life is like. That is what soul alignment looks like. Soul alignment does not look like everything being perfect, everything looking the way that you thought it was going to look, or all the people liking you, and where you're being guided to go. No, that's not what that means. And so coming to that point of people not liking you, I had to accept that. I'm like, everybody is not gonna like me, and that's okay. Sometimes I don't even like me. I'm like, girl, like, what is going on? And what I don't like is how I battle myself. Like, I know who I am, and I know my intention and the way I move. And sometimes, and now I know it's my ego, like, oh, bringing all these things up or trying to make me cling to things that I know I need to let go of to, because the ego don't want to lose its power over life. It wants to be in control, and it's like, no, we're not. We're just flowing with life. I don't want to be comfortable anymore. I don't want to just stay in things because it's comfortable. I want to grow. I want to evolve. I want to be the best version of me every day. So I'm doing that every day. I'm no longer looking at mistakes or flaws as something that's wrong with me. I look at it as footstools for me to grow. So if I don't like something about myself, I'm asking myself why. You know what I'm saying? Like, before, um I used to like have a complex about my forehead. And now I wear my hair pulled back, forehead out and everything. I'm like, girl, look, I'm beautiful, okay? I love everything about me. The scar on my head, my sister dropped me when I was a baby. And I used to have a complex about that. And the reason why is because I used to be teased about it all the time when I was younger. I can remember one of my cousins calling me Big Forest. And I used to hate that. Like, it was so embarrassing when I was young and he used to say that. Like, it used to really make me go within and shrink. And I was like, you know what? Nah. I have really gotten to this place where I'm like, oh, even my lazy eye. Nobody used to tease me about that, but it used to be my own insecurity. I used to be like, why is my eye like that? Why I have a lazy eye? Why I have to have a lazy eye? And now it's like, you know what, girl? Look, that's how the divine created you. You are perfect. You are everything. You are nothing. You are all the things. It's all true at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So acceptance is the key to flowing with life. Just accept you. It's a game changer. Knowing who you are, and that's every part of you, why you do what you do, why you feel the way you feel. Like, being in tune with that and understanding that is a game changer. Another game changer for me was accepting that the feelings and the emotions, the trauma was not my identity. For so long, I held on to it like it was my identity. If I let this go, then who am I? Who am I apart from this? Because this is all I know. And it wasn't until I was shown, like, hey, that's some heavy bags you carrying. You can let those go now. They're not your identity. You are a soul having a human experience. And everything that you have experienced in this life was just that experience. It never was meant for you to hold on to it or take it on as your identity or allow it to consume you. You wasn't taught this, and that's okay. Now you know, so let it go. And so now when I experience emotions, I just experience them. It's like, I'm angry, but I'm not anger. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm angry, but I'm not anger. So why am I angry? And why did that make me angry? And then it just makes me go within myself, and they call that alchemizing. So I just been really, I've been doing it pretty much my whole life. I didn't know what it was or what I was doing, but I was doing it. So yeah, I have just accepted all the things about me. And so when I'm in here and I'm battling with myself, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not even your energy. That's not even how you move. So just post. Like, you're being guided to post. Go talk. And then when I get on here and I have the anxiety, I be like, are you supposed to go in there and talk about this? Because why do you have anxiety? Why are you still scared? You've been doing it for a couple of months now. And I'm like, I don't think that's leaving. I think that's just a part of the experience. And when you're facing your fear, because every time it's new. You know what I'm saying? Every time I get on here is a new experience. I'm still learning and growing inside of this experience. So it's that part. So I'm just learning how to accept the things for what they are and flowing with them. Um, Understanding that everybody is not my assignment. I'm not everybody's assignment. Um, Everybody is not my cup of tea. I'm not everybody cup of tea. It's accepting that. You know, when I come to places, um, or experiencing, different content from different people, um, I no longer look at it like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, or that's not true, or that's not this, or that's not that. I just say, oh, that don't align with me. So that's for a different soul group. These people, like I can recognize people who are in alignment and they're doing what their soul guided them to do. And I don't always resonate with it, but I can respect them because I see another soul in alignment. And it just makes me proud of them and not try to tear them down or go in their comment sections and tell them they're wrong about what they're talking about, because I didn't experience those things. I don't know what their journey brought them through to get to this point to be able to share from their perspective. And I feel that the world being a better place is us accepting that and understanding that. But we can't do that until we do that for ourselves. I know that because I couldn't do it until I did it for myself. I used to be the person being judgmental, you know, um, looking at people thinking they were crazy, like they don't know what they're talking about, and my soul took me on a ride, baby. It was like, look, we about to show you some things. And now I see, I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what it is. I don't understand, or I can't connect with them, or I don't resonate with them because I didn't experience that. But it don't make it wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's right for them and what they experience. And because I can accept that for myself and I want people to do the same thing and have that same respect for me, then I can have that respect for others. And you just flow with life. And it's so much lighter. It's so much lighter than that push pull energy of you're right, I'm wrong, or you're crazy because I never experienced that. So you have to been and lost your mind. It's like, no. Because I've had many experiences where I know, you know, it's like you would have to be there to believe it. And when I share it with people, they're like looking at me like, girl. Or some people will be like, oh my goodness, like I've never seen anything like that before. Because I document it. I have the pictures. I have the pictures. You know, it's just a Sagittarius thing. You have all the the documentation to prove, like, hey, this happened. But I get it. Like, I get it. And it's when I come back to my heart, sometimes it frustrates me that I understand so much on a soul level, but then I'm grateful for it, because it just helps me to just flow through this life. And this life is not easy. It's not easy. So, no, I don't like when people try to make it like it's so easy. because it wasn't always so easy. But you can get to that place of ease and grace and flowing, but it's not, everybody's not there. So you have to hold space for those people and have compassion, and you have to remember where you come from, what you have experienced. And I feel like so many people get past it and they're like, I don't want to remember that. I don't, because they feel like it's going to drag them back there, or it's going to um, make them revert, I guess. And that can be true and false at the same time, right? Because if you're not doing the work, or if you don't want to go back there because you haven't dealt with what you needed to deal with and heal, then it's keeping you stuck. And it's making you not be able to have compassion or hold space for people that are still there. And then you're judging, you're looking down on, because you done forgot that, oh wow, I used to be that person, I experienced that. So it's understanding that. So like I get it, like from every perspective of everybody. No, I haven't experienced everything that everybody have experienced, right? But because I understand me and my journey and how I had to maneuver through this life, it just gave me a better understanding of the things outside of me, because I understand me. So yeah, so that's that. And yeah, I'm just accepting the things for what they are and trusting the process, and just continuing to flow with my path, let go of the things that I need to let go of when I need to let them go, embrace the things that I need to embrace for this part of my journey. I don't close myself off to saying, oh, I'll never go back there, or do this or do that, because I've learned from my own experience that you can say what you want with your mouth, but if you meant to go back there, you're going. You know, cutting people off from me, I'm understanding that it can be for a season, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So I'm accepting that. My heart is always open to having a conversation. Um, if people are willing to take accountability, accept the role that they played in the experience, and we can have a conversation, learn and grow. It's not saying that we gonna come back together and be the best of friends, or coexist with each other all the time. But sometimes the conversation just needs to be had. So I always open myself up to that. Um, because I was in that energy where no, I don't have nothing to say to you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't this and that. It ain't that. It's like, everybody learn and grow within their own time. So you never know where people are at on their journey. You don't have to, but just have your heart open to, because you may need it. You don't know how you may need that healing also, and I know some people are like, I don't need that, I don't need that, and I did my healing, I did this. I mean, two things can be true at one time. I understand. I understand it. So yeah, I'm just, the last couple of days I just been in this space of acceptance, because I went live and I was talking about the God versus universe conversation, and I was talking in there, and I was like, you know what, or just even looking, like I said, looking at people comments and how people comment, it always just irritated me how some people get in there. But I was like, I just send them love and have compassion for them, because I'm like, they can only express themselves from their perspective and their perception of their own life, and they haven't quite got to that space of understanding, oh, this is projection. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. Instead of saying I don't understand this, they have to project their own experiences on to another person. And so that's why on this channel I say I just want to create a community where we're learning and growing no matter what walk of life you're in or where you are on your journey, what community you're in, of just understanding you and where you are and accepting you, so then you're able to just accept others where they are and just have peace. Like it, man, that unconditional love, it comes back to under that umbrella. Unconditional love. Like I love you because of who you are. Because I know that the divine in me is in you. I know that you came here to experience this life the way your soul was meant to experience it. So let me allow you, because I mean, life is heavy enough. We got enough stuff that we're dealing with already. I don't want to add to that. If I can't make your life better, if I can't share from my perspective to make your life better, then I'm not going to share it. I'm not going to share it. If it's something that's going to tear you down, like, I don't need to do that. You know, there's enough of that going around in the world. And we're doing it to ourselves enough. So I think accepting that for myself has really helped me, because I was like, I know what it felt like when I was doing it to myself and it didn't feel good. And I know what it felt like when people did it to me and neither one of us understood what was going on. Like I knew how heavy that was. So now I just have just compassion. It's like, man, I'm not trying to do that to nobody. I'm not trying to add on to people's pain. Oh man. Oh. And I'm accepting that it's okay to cry on live. Oh man. It is okay. It's okay. But yeah, I'm not, and that's just me and my energy. And I know I'm not the only one. So, you know, that's, this is so many things for me. It's for me first. I know that. And I know that everything that I went through, it was for me first, but I'm being guided to share to help somebody on their journey, because I know how many times somebody helped me on mine. Hold on. I usually don't, let me come to the comments, because I usually just get on here and talk, but I just came across your channel and I think that you are so wise. I am struggling today with my anxiety and depression, and you just made my day. Stay blessed. Oh, thank you. Like that, thank you. I'm just leaning more into it. I'm trusting it more, and I was turning my comments off, but even in that, I'm growing with it, because I was turning the comments off because you have good comments like this, but then you have the people that come in with the craziness, and it's like I'm learning from other YouTubers as I'm watching them. Like some of them just they don't engage, and I'm doing that too. But then I'm like, there's a time and a space for everything. So I want to create a space where I can engage and talk to people. But then I also have those moments where I just want to get on here and just kind of release or share what I need to share, and, be in that space too. So I'm finding harmony in it. I don't necessarily like to use balance, because that's a whole nother lie. And it's like, if one thing tipped that scale, then it's going to, it makes it out of balance. But I'm really just trying to find harmony with being here. It's new for me. Um, and like I said, I'm just opening myself to learning and growing from each experience that I have on here, and keeping that door open for that. So, oh, thank you. Thank y'all so much. Like, I appreciate that love and just reminding me, why I'm being shown to do this. And yeah, talking It's so funny. I was working my job that I just quit, and I was talking to, my coworkers, and we supposed to be working, but if we start talking, like, we can be in the hallway talking for hours. And I can remember moments where I stop and say, "Man, I can do this for hours and hours and hours." And my coworker was like, "Talking is your gift." And I was like, "What?" Like, I never looked at it as a gift. He was like, "Queen, just in the little time that I have known you," he was like, "You have changed my life and just my perspective on how I see life." And I was like, He was like, "You need to have a podcast or something." I was like, "Oh, here we go again with the podcast." But I never looked at talking as my gift, or sharing as my gift, or talking to people as my gift, because I'm like, it's just something I do naturally. And I don't even realize what I'm doing or the impact that I'm having on myself for sharing and talking, and on others. And it's not until people share that with me that I'm like, "Oh, wow, like, maybe this is my gift." I don't know. So I don't know. I'm just doing what feels good to me, and trusting it. And I didn't always trust it. So I'm happy to be here, and I look forward to just continuing to grow this community of, you know, souls who are in alignment and just trying to find their way through this life. You know what I'm saying? And I struggled with it for so long. And now that I'm just in this flowing space, like, it just feels so good. And I'm like, I want to help others to get there, And they say for you can't do something for somebody that you're not doing for yourself. And I was beating myself up because it took me so long to start doing this. I was guided to start doing it in 2011, and I was just so scared. But now that I look back, I'm like, I mean, I can't say it wouldn't have been helpful. I let the fear get in the way, but I couldn't share from this space of knowing what that feels like, knowing the work that it takes to get here, and being able to share to help somebody who was once where I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, my prayer has always been to not let me forget where I come from, where I've come from, and the things that I have experienced, because it's my story. It's how I've got here. And, like, I always just want to hold that with me, because it just helps me to be able to connect with people who are still there. And I feel like that's what's missing from so many people, is just that they have forgotten. One, I understand they have forgotten, because it's not easy. It's painful, and sometimes you just don't want to go there. You don't want to remember. You don't want to be taken back to those moments. So I understand that too. So I have compassion for those people too. But I wanted to be somebody, or my soul, I should say, I am somebody in that prayer, because sometimes I pray and then I stop. Like, the human part of me stop and be like, what the hell are you saying? Like, what are you talking about? You don't want to forget? Like, but my soul, I'm going to say it's a soul prayer, because I'm serious. I have these prayers that I pray, and then I stop and I be like, what are you asking for? Like, what are you saying? Like, when I stopped and I prayed, I was at this retreat, and I prayed for my heart to just be so open. And I said, I just want my heart to be so open. And after I left the retreat, I think like 3 weeks after that, I was experiencing things and feeling things, and I was like, what is going on? And I was like, girl, do you remember that prayer that you prayed? For your heart to be so open, that means you feel everything. And I was like, oh shit. What are you like? What are you doing? What are you praying for? I don't understand. But I know it's my soul. It's like it's what my soul came here to experience. So I know if I pray that, I have the capacity to hold it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm learning how now to separate what's mine and what's somebody else's. So like sometimes I'll be in a good mood, I'm having a good day, and then all of a sudden I'll start feeling sad. And I'll stop and say, okay, is this sadness that I'm feeling, is this mine or is this somebody else's? And I said, if it's mine, then show me what that's about. And if it's not mine, I release it and I send it back to that person with love and light. And then sometimes it'll just go away. If it's not mine, it'll just go away. But if it's mine, it's still there. And then I go and I sit down with myself and I'm like, okay, what's going on with you? Because you were just fine. You know what I'm saying? And it may have been something that I watched, something that I seen on, TV, something that happened with me and my kids. And then I just sit with that and I process it and I allow it to go versus, burying it or not dealing with it. So burying it, yeah. But it's learning. My heart is just open to learning and growing, being present. And I just stop and I look, I'm like, man, I wasn't always here. So I'm so grateful to be here and just understand that I'm not my emotions and I'm not my trauma. And it was just an experience. So now I'm working through that and releasing the things that I need to release. And it's just so light. It's very light. Let me see. There has definitely been a shift. It is therapy for me. It's so funny. I was in therapy for 3 years. And a couple of months ago, I don't know, maybe it's been about 6 months now, I've been out of therapy. And I just was guided because it was so funny when I go to my therapist, we be sitting there talking, and like I said, it was like she was just there holding space because I'll be talking to her and like I get my revelations or the things that I need from me talking, just sharing with her. And I was guided to that it was time for me to stop therapy and give that space to somebody who really needed it, because I really go in and work through my stuff and like process and do all the things, and somebody's not able to do that. So I didn't want to continue to hold up a space where somebody who really needs it, who need those tools to learn how to do the things that I'm doing, I didn't want to take up that space from that person. So I stopped going to therapy, and it's very healing, especially since I'm like got over the fear and just getting on here and just allowing myself to freely share. So it definitely is working. It definitely is working. It's working. And I don't know if you're trying to be funny or if you are serious, but hey, either way, it's working. So, I have a therapist friend, since you brought up therapists and therapy. I have a therapist friend who I was talking to, and I was just sharing with her just how I work through my emotions and the things that I've been through. And she was like, Queen, if everybody understood that or would do the work that you're doing, like nobody would need me. I wouldn't have a job. And it just goes back to what I said earlier, like everybody have their position in this life. Every soul came here to experience this life a certain way. And everybody don't have it all figured out. Everybody don't know how to work through their emotions and process the things that they need to process. On my journey, it has been a lot of me doing this work on my own. Like for real. Just sitting down, not having a clue about none of the things, and just really working through it. My soul guiding me. Like my soul chose this path of not being attached to anything or not, getting my information from outside. It's my journey has been like that. For real. And I challenge everything outside of me. I question everything. Everything. And I tell people, question everything. Even the stuff that I'm talking about, question it. Question it for you. How does this fit into your life? Does it align with you and where you at on your soul's journey? You know? So, sometimes I get angry at the path that my soul chose because it's been very lonely and very hard. I'm like, what type of soul chooses this type of path? This is crazy. Like, this is a lonely path, but I have just accepted it. It is what it is. But it just comes back to that Moana scene when she's like, you call this helping? Like, what is this? Like, you chose me for this, but why did you choose this? I'm confused because this is crazy. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. You know what I'm saying? I am so grateful for every experience that I have had, the good and the bad. I am so grateful for it because when I look at who I was and who I am today, I wouldn't change a thing because all of those things shaped me and formed me into this version of me. So I wouldn't trade it. But, I was saying earlier, like, everybody's not going to like me, and that's fine. And I have accepted the fact that I accepted that fact because I don't like me sometimes. And I don't like me because of that. I'd be like, oh, girl, like, why you had to know the stuff that you know? Like, sometimes I just want to go back to not knowing, but I know I ain't going back to not knowing. You know what I'm saying? But then it just makes me have compassion for people who, have substance that they use to kind of suppress and just numb themselves because I understand that. Like, sometimes I ask myself, like, how are you doing this life without nothing? Like, how? But then I come back to my inner strength, my soul. This is the path that my soul chose. But then it made me have compassion for other people. Like, I see why, y'all, so I understand. You know what I'm saying? And being in a marriage with somebody who suppressed through drinking and wasn't in tune with himself or his feelings, like, I had to face that head on. And that's how I was able to have compassion for other people because I used to be that judgmental person, right? And I also had my mom who substance, pills, drinking, you know what I'm saying? And suppressing her feelings and her emotions. And I understand that. I have so much love and compassion for them. And just for people worldwide who can't find the capacity to deal with this stuff. Because it's not easy. It's not. So I get it. So if you have somebody who's struggling, and I have to just go here because, hey, this is the way they guided me to talk about this. If you have somebody that's struggling, or if you're struggling with that, like, just give yourself grace. Have compassion for yourself. Have compassion for your loved ones and the ones who are not able to face this life without those substances. Because it's not easy. It's not easy. And we are so judgmental. I say we as a collective. Because even the person who think they're not judgmental is judgmental. It's like you're judging something. You're judging something. But that judgment comes from the projections, right? From when we're growing up. But then once we get old enough to understand and start taking accountability for our life, then the judgment is coming from us. We're judging ourselves and then we judging others. So I had to learn that because I was, when I was in that marriage, I was judging my ex-husband. I was like, just get your shit together. Like, if I can do it, you can do it. you know, but that taught me so much. Man, that taught me so much. That taught me so much now that I'm reflecting on it. I had to learn how to have compassion. But I couldn't have compassion for him until I started to have compassion for myself. So that was a message for somebody. I left him. Let me see. Life is, it is what it is. Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness. Let me stop. I'll be saying I'm not going, you know what? I can be petty sometimes, but I try not to be. Um, you ran him away. You know what? Interesting. Did I run him away? No, he didn't leave, sweetie. I had to leave. I had to leave. But in that, like, you know, you learning and you growing through all your experiences. And what you think is hell, you are really being refined and discovering the best parts of you. So just, you know, just trust it. Just trust it. Because I was in that marriage for 16 years. I know that I was there longer than I was supposed to. Fear kept me. Fear kept me there. Um, but even the years that I was there longer than I was supposed to be, I still was learning and growing. And that's where that soul alignment piece comes back into play, because it's like when you're in soul alignment, you know when it's time to go. But sometimes we let the fear stop us. So it's like, oh, I was only supposed to be in that marriage for 10 years and I was there for 16 years. I was beating myself up about that. But I just had to accept that it is what it is. It is what it is. But sometimes when we are not listening to our soul prompting us to move, drastic measures happen. And then you know, I better get the hell up out of here or I'm no longer going to be here. And I'm at a point now, like from that experience, I don't want it to get to that point. Like, I just want to listen to what my soul is telling me. So when it's time to move, it's time to move. When it's time to let go, it's time to let go. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't have to come to the point to where my life is on the line. You know? It shouldn't have to come to the point to where it's either me or you. It shouldn't come to that point. You know, so we wasn't even on this topic, but hey, that's the way soul works. That's the way spirit works. Somebody needed to hear it. So I shared it. But yeah. All right. It's crazy. It's funny how time flies when you're having fun. I did not move. Nope. I did not move. Oh, I didn't miss anything. I didn't miss my, did I miss my soulmate? No. 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 A lot of people think a soulmate is one person. Nope. You have many soulmates. A soulmate is not just one person. That marriage, I questioned it. I questioned it. I questioned if I was supposed to be there. If that was the person I was supposed to marry. I asked all the questions. Here's what I want to tell you. Like, even the way it happened, I just know it was aligned with my soul's mission. Exactly. That it was hell. It was hard. They had some beautiful spare of the moments, but the bulk of it was pretty heavy. But Was he a soulmate? Yeah. Yeah, he was. But not in the dynamics of how a lot of people like to fantasize soulmates. Like, oh, it feels good. Everything aligns. Everything, we agree with everything. Everything is peaches and cream. Like, nah. The soulmates that come into your life to challenge you to grow and evolve as a soul, to be a better version of you. Like when I was able to find gratitude, I spent so much time regretting, sitting in the misery, just drowning in it. But when I was able to find compassion and understanding for that other soul, to understand him, because now I was able to understand myself, and the only reason why I was able to go within myself is because of what I was experiencing with him. When I was able to find gratitude for those 16 years, I knew in that moment that yes, he was a soulmate. I found gratitude because I discovered the best parts of me in that marriage. And I know that if I didn't go through those things with him, I wouldn't have went into myself the way that I did to understand me. For the first 5 years, it was like, oh, I want you supposed to love me. You supposed to make me happy. You supposed to do this. You supposed to do that. My happiness was dependent on him from the projection that the world said your happiness come from outside of you. That person's supposed to make you happy. So that's how I went into that marriage, not knowing anything, but except for the projections that was put on to me from the world saying, hey, this is what it's supposed to look like, right? A lot of the women in my family never married, which was so crazy. So I really didn't have any examples, right? You see the TV shows and you see what Hollywood says marriage should look like. They kind of give you the example like, oh, this is what it should be. And then you get in there and you like, what the hell is this? Because this ain't it. But in the first 5 years, that's where I was at with it. And then I had to go within myself and say, you know what? It is not his responsibility to make you happy. And that was my soul speaking to me. So then I started to go within myself and see how I can make me happy. So the things that I wanted him to do, I started to do. Because I was like, bring me flowers, take me out, do these things. So I started to do it for myself. I started to buy me flowers. I started to take myself to the movies. You know what I'm saying? I started to hang out with my friends. I started to do the things that I wanted this person to come into my life and do. I started to love me. I started to appreciate me. I started to value me. Because I realized he couldn't do that for me because he wasn't able to do it for himself. He was struggling. He had his own trauma that he could not sit with or deal with or even face because he was suppressing it with the alcohol. Yes, did the alcohol and him drinking affect me negatively? It did. It did. So then I had to separate that. I had to heal from that. It was hell. But I did the work. And then in that, I still had compassion for this person that was causing harm to me, that was harming himself. So you see what I'm saying? Hurt people, hurt people. So I could have sat in that energy of hurt people, and we just kept hurting each other. But I decided to take it and alchemize it to something beautiful for myself. And then when I finally got the strength to leave, I left. It took me getting to a place of where I felt like I no longer wanted to live, to buying pills and saying I no longer want to be here, to my soul coming and saying, hey, you can change this, but if you do this, you can't change that. So I had to step back, choose life, and say, okay, I love my life. I want to be here and I want to experience as much life as I can. So then I stayed there. So when my soul showed me that and said, hey, you can change this, but you can't change it if you decide to take these pills. And when I stopped and I decided to choose life, I was there another year before I left. And as I was in that, and I'm doing this work, I'm healing, and I'm still being faced with this trauma from this relationship. I'm there a whole year later, and literally, it's so funny now that I'm talking about it. It was a year into the day that I was had those pills. It was the exact month to when this person decides, oh, I'm going to try to take your life. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. This is it. That was the this is it moment for me. Cause I was like, wait, you just last year you was just trying to take your own life. And then this year, this person is trying to take you out. I was like, it's time to go. So that's when I knew the fear can no longer keep me here. And I took my kids and we went to the shelter. And one of the things that was keeping me there was that I felt like it wasn't fair that I had to take my kids and go live in a shelter. Why won't you just leave? Is what I felt. And when that happened, when that moment happened, I said, you know what? I don't care what's on the other side of this. We going. We leaving. And so when I decided to go to the shelter, guess what? It was the best decision that I made in my life. One of the best decisions I made in my life. Because the fear of going to the shelter, when I tell y'all, this is going to speak volumes to what I mean. So 16 years, when I think about it, I would say 15, because the first year wasn't, horrible. But 15 years of being in hell, of not being able to sleep through the night, being woken up out of your sleep for chaos and, just all the things. The 2 years, well, a year that I was in a shelter, that year, I had the most peace in that year than I had in 15 years. So that spoke volumes to me. I was able to sleep in peace and not have to worry about being woken up out of my sleep. That alone was worth it. So I didn't feel like it was fair that I had to be the one to leave, because I wasn't the one causing the problem and I wasn't the one who, I had the kids. So why don't you just leave? But he wouldn't just leave. So then I had to make a choice. So I made that choice, and it was the best choice that I made. One of the best choices I made, and it set me free. So here I am, 3 years later, in a good mental space, in a good heart space, and even in that, my heart was still open to learning, growing, having compassion, having understanding, holding space for others. Like, that didn't define me. It didn't destroy me. It didn't turn me cold. It didn't make me hate men. It made me open to, no, I know there's a beautiful love, divine partner out there for me. That's what it made me understand. It didn't make me turn cold or hate men. And I still have compassion for him. I still pray for him. I hope he's doing well. I hope he can get to a space to where he can come and understand himself and heal. But then I also have accepted the fact that that may be his soul's journey. And it's sad. I don't hate him. You know what I'm saying? And I had to keep telling him. I think it was like maybe the last 4 years of me being there, I kept saying, like, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. I love you. I love you as a person. I see you hurting. I see your pain, but your pain is not my pain. And just because you're hurting doesn't give you the right to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. Oh, hold on. Mm-hmm. You know what? Y'all wasn't in here, and I see this looks like a lot of men trying to understand from my perspective. But I was talking earlier, since y'all in here with the comments. Um, I never said I took medicine. What are you talking about? Are you listening to hear and understand, or are you just, you know what? I don't understand. But I never said I take medicine. I never said that. So, because I see it's a bunch of men, y'all only can understand from y'all perspective, right? And your perception of life or what you think you know. And I was just explaining this earlier, so you would have to go back and watch the beginning of my life to understand where I am, right? You can only understand from your perception and perspective of your own experience. You don't know what I've been through or what I endured. You don't know it. I know it. So I'm sharing from a space to help somebody on their journey who may be struggling. And if you're not in that space, if you have never experienced it, maybe you're a man who never did these things, right? Or maybe you're a man who do these things and not taking accountability. I don't know. I don't know your life. You know your life. That's your job. That's your experience. You have to work through that. What I'm saying is, when you come in people comment section, and if you're not genuinely asking to understand, to learn and grow, keep that to yourself. Like for real. 100% keep it to yourself. It's too much of that BS going around. Like, no. People out here trying to heal and grow and be better. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what somebody else been through. So don't be trying to tear people down. Okay? Just take that. Baby, everybody ain't out here taking medicine. Some people are really doing the work. Some people are healing, learning, and growing, okay, without medication, without substances. And I'm not taking away from people who need those things. What I'm saying is everybody is not doing that. Some people are really just facing their stuff head on. You know what I'm saying? And the people who need it, that's okay. You have some people who are using it to better themselves and some people abusing it. I'm not judging neither. I'm just saying, you don't know. Stop projecting. Stop projecting. I'm not saying that taking medicine is tearing me down. What I'm saying is you don't know. You're asking a question about medicine. It's not tearing me down. Let me just say that first of all. You're asking about taking medicine, and I never said I was taking medicine. I said I brought pills because I was ready to not be here. That's what I said. So you not listening to hear me. I'm just saying, I'm just speaking in general when I talk about people coming in people comment sections projecting. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what people been through. You don't know what people have experienced. So maybe this is just a lesson for somebody that's on here. Maybe it's not for you. I'm just speaking what I'm being guided to speak about. Baby, y'all don't know. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't know. I know. Thank you. I appreciate you. You a little nuts. I hear you. the projections be real. But, sometimes I have time. Sometimes I have time to entertain the foolery. But at the heart of who I am, the real ones know. The people who are really trying to learn and grow, they know. You know what I'm saying? I see you see me. We're learning and growing and doing the work. Okay? Because it ain't easy. But we also can see the people who are not doing the work. We can see that through the comments. They think that their comments is reflecting the person who's talking. Your comment reflects you. It shows who you are as a person. It shows your heart. That's what it shows. So, because I know that. See, if this was 10 years ago, I probably would be somewhere cutting this live off, crying. And not saying that anybody's in the comment doing that right now, but I'm just saying, through my experience on YouTube and just watching the different people that come in and say stuff, if this was 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to handle this. So that's why my fear was also protecting me from where I was. I wouldn't have been able to mentally handle it with everything that I was going through. But because I did the work and I know who I am, I see you because I see me. When you comment, it doesn't reflect me, it reflects you. So that's all that's saying. The comment shows the heart of the person who's commenting. That's it. When your heart is blackened, when it's full of pain and hurt, and you're not healing, because healed is a stretch. We're healing. Healing is a process. It's happening in layers. So I'm healing. It reflects you. And that's a word, that's a lesson for a lot of people. So the way you comment, the way you talk to people, it reflects you as a person, not the people who are talking. So I can see it's time to get off here because, yeah, that's my time. But I appreciate the beautiful souls that enter the chat and the lost souls that enter the chat. I send you love too. Go do your work. Go work on you so that you can be a better version of you. Peace, love, and light. Y'all have a beautiful day.